Hallo, willkommen zu Lonestar. Wir spielen Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot, The First Cases. Wir haben also als letztes das Zimmer vom Major untersucht und den Raum, in dem er gestorben ist. Und jetzt sollen wir mal mit allen Gästen reden. Es gibt aber hier erstmal etwas, was um unsere Aufmerksamkeit bittet. It's highly possible one of the guests is behind the murder. This warrants immediate investigation. Tja, wie fangen wir denn an? Von dem weiß ich am wenigsten. Von ihr auch. Ich würde mal sagen, wir fangen mit der Familie an. Das ist die zukünftige Familie. Nehmen wir Gideon.
Monsieur Demir, I am sorry your celebrations have taken a rather dark turn.
As am I, Detective. I hope we will be able to bring this investigation to an end post-haste.
With your cooperation, I will do my very best.
Besides your time in the hall, where were you before we were summoned to the dining room?
I was here in the salon. I thought I would have a moment of peace to calm myself, but the Comtesse and my brother followed behind.
Did they inquire into the reasons behind the fight in the hall?
I think they both saw it as some light entertainment, more than anything else.
The Comtesse does not strike me as one to enjoy violence.
And not so much violence, but karma for the Major, perhaps. You did not hear how he spoke to my wife-to-be. She is still rather upset about the whole thing.
If you would be so kind as to stay here, I may require your help further.
Also, was sagt er? Gideon in the salon. Gideon moved into the salon after altercation with the Major. Angeline still upset about the altercation. Gideon saw Margot and Zachariah. Can this be verified? Zach.
I'm afraid our conversation is of a more formal nature this time.
So the Major was murdered?
It appears so.
You can't think that I did it, though.
I will be questioning everyone over the course of the evening, and your cooperation will certainly speed up that process.
Besides speaking with me, tell me about your movements before dinner.
I was here in the salon, minding my own business, enjoying my own company.
Minding your business from whom?
Comtesse, what's her name, and my brother. Apart from wanting to congratulate him for a great right hook, there was nothing I had to say to him.
Comtesse de Vos? And they will both confirm you were here?
If she had taken a moment to notice anything besides herself, she will tell you I was here the whole time.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Dann reden wir mal mit ihr, oder? Zach was in the salon. Zachariah was in the salon following the altercation. Zachariah saw Gideon and Margot.
What a revelation!
They confirm each other's appearance in the salon. Ja, aber die sind auch Brüder. Vielleicht lügt einer. Zach had no interest in speaking with Margot or his brother.
Countess, I am sorry our next conversation must be under such formal circumstances.
It is not the first time Felix has ruined a good party.
The current state of tonight's celebrations is the least of my priorities, Countess.
Well, it's at the top of mine, Detective. I did not come here for a wake.
Perhaps then we should proceed with my questions, and you can get back to celebrating.
It would be my pleasure, chérie.
We spoke earlier. Did you remain here in the salon until dinner was served?
I did. I thought by staying in one place, it would be easy for the staff to bring me my drinks. How wrong I was.
And who else was present in here?
The handsome groom-to-be and his brother, although Zachariah, is it, made a rather sharp exit at one stage.
Did he say where he was going?
He barely said 2 words to either of us. I think he was more concerned with his drink.
Another to notice Monsieur Demirs is drinking, and yet no one seems concerned.
Merci, Countess. If I have any further questions, I shall be sure to come and find you.
Zack went missing. Gideon was present.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Margot and Gideon confirm each other's appearance in the saloon. Salon, not saloon.
I must act on thought and fact.
Ja, das ist doch ein Widerspruch. Dann ist es vielleicht der hier.
I cannot see the logic in this.
Nee. Dann ist das der Widerspruch.
Order and method.
Auch nicht. Ach, jetzt habe ich doch schon ziemlich alles versucht. Okay, ich darf also den nicht nehmen, sondern der war gemeint.
Magnifique.
Margot claims Zachariah stepped out of the room, but Gideon did not mention it. Was his missing time accounted for? Talk to Zack. Jackie.
Mademoiselle Conrad, I am sure you understand the delicate nature of the situation.
I knew I had seen your face before. You were just an officer when that story hit the paper.
You have a très bon memory, mademoiselle. That was a long time ago.
You can't escape the past, especially when you go and do something like that.
That is very true, but one can learn from it and create a better future.
What would you say to an
Please, mademoiselle. Catching the Major's killer is my sole concern right now. Now, if you would be so kind, I have some questions for you.
Tell me about your evening since your arrival.
I arrived, unpacked my bags in my room, and made it downstairs just in time to see the Major take a right hook from Gideon. And then I went to check out the library.
And you were joined by Monsieur Beckers.
And Ernesto, or Monsieur Silver, as you say. But after he ignored my attempt at pleasantries, I left him to his book in the corner.
And your conversation with Monsieur Beckers that I interrupted.
You are a persistent one, aren't you? Makes sense now I know who you really are. You'll just have to wait and read about it in the paper like everyone else.
Mademoiselle Conrad still remains tight-lipped about her discussion with Monsieur Beckers, but a hint at reading about it in the newspaper makes me believe it may be of a much grander nature than I expected.
You have been most helpful. I request you do not go too far. Merci.
Jackie was talking to Hugo. Jackie was in the library. Ernesto was lurking in the library. Ja.
Ernesto. Monsieur de Silva, Merci for obliging me.
A detective comes to a party and a dead body shows up. Coincidental, don't you think?
A man's death is not a matter to joke on, monsieur.
Who said anything about a joke? I am saying what I see.
Then perhaps you can tell me what it was you saw this evening.
Where were you prior to dinner?
Following whatever that was in the hall, I moved to the library.
Is there anyone that can confirm that?
Miss Conrad and Beckers were in there, arguing about something. The books held my interest far more than their conversation.
Und außerdem haben wir uns dort gesehen.
You did not speak with them until dinner was served?
I had no reason to get involved with their little spat. It was clear they didn't want me to hear, and that suited me just fine.
Merci for your cooperation.
Ernesto was in the library. Argument between Hugo and Jackie.
This will not get me any closer to my...
Okay, dann vielleicht die Verbindung.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
Das andere fände ich aber logischer, wenn er gesagt hätte, Ernesto was in the library to Ernesto was lurking in the library. They confirm each other's appearance in the library. So. Hugo.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Beckers. Merci for speaking with me.
Monsieur Poirot, or should it be Detective Poirot now?
Detective Poirot is perfect, merci. I would like to begin with a few questions.
Go right ahead, Detective Poirot.
Can you tell me where you were prior to dinner?
I took great pleasure in seeing the Major's ego as well as his face take a bruising. And then I made my way to the library.
Well, you spoke with Mademoiselle Conrad.
And yourself? Yes.
Ah, ihm ist es wenigstens aufgefallen, dass wir auch da waren.
We were the only two that you spoke with.
One of the servants bought me a drink and I was telling her about the benefits of joining a union. She didn't understand what it truly meant to be a part of something. Something bigger than just her. I was trying to explain to her how...
Monsieur.
Oh, yes, it was just the two of you and the servant.
Strange that he does not seem to recall seeing Monsieur de Silva in the library.
And
Aber
you are
ich hab
sure
sie ja
there was
gesehen
no
dort.
one else present?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, Detective. You were there.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
Hugo was in the library. Spoke with Jackie and myself. Jackie was talking to Hugo.
What a revelation!
Jackie and Hugo confirm each other's appearance in the library.
Is there something I am not...
Ja, ich dachte, hier wäre jetzt der Widerspruch. Vielleicht die zwei. Hugo was in the library, an argument between Hugo and Jackie.
I cannot see the logic in this.
Ah, nee, weil er nicht. Hat er die vielleicht abgehört?
Order and method.
Nein, passt also nicht zusammen. Also man sollte nicht auf den Knoten gehen, sondern auf den.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Hugo failed to mention seeing Ernesto in the library. Talk to Hugo.
Whatever you require, Detective.
Your story of tonight's events.
I know you are probably used to dealing with criminals, but not everyone is trying to hide something.
I hope for your sake that you do not hide anything from me.
What is it you think I'm hiding?
I struggle to believe you did not know of Monsieur da Silva's presence in the library.
Is that what this is about? I saw him hiding in the corner, pretending to read. I'd be surprised if he even could. I did not speak to him, and he certainly didn't make any attempt to speak with me.
Monsieur Demir invited you here to speak with him. You didn't see that as a fitting time too?
I was speaking with Jacqueline, and quite frankly, I was in no mood to be dealing with that man.
Monsieur Beckers is courageous and full of vigor in his planning, but his execution does not share such confidence.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
Wir sollen mit Zack sprechen. Hugo saw Ernesto briefly. Ja, dann geht es entweder hier drauf auf Jackie and Ernesto oder hier auf Argument between Hugo und Jackie. Oder den da.
I must take a different approach if...
Nee, war's nicht. Aber einer von den drei ist es.
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Hugo and Ernesto now confirm each other's appearance in the library.
Another success. I never doubted myself.
Hugo, Ernesto and Jackie support each other's version of events. Someone else must be responsible, surely.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Your version of events.
I told you already. I was here in the salon.
And you did not leave even once.
Well, I had to use the bathroom. I didn't realize I had to update you every time nature called.
You may keep your calls of nature to yourself, merci. And then you returned to the salon?
If you don't believe me, ask Archibald. He saw me on his way up to the study.
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Also wir sollen mit Archibald reden. Zachariah saw Archibald while in the Great Hall. He says he can cover his absence.
Can you confirm seeing Monsieur Demir in the hall this evening?
Zachariah, yes. I was on my way with a bottle of whiskey to the Major. He shouted a rather ignorable greeting to me and asked for directions to the bathroom.
The bottle of whiskey to the Major. Haben wir die gefunden oben? Weiß ich gar nicht.
I presume you showed him the way?
Aye, Detective. I showed him to the hall bathroom. I didn't think it was wise to attempt the stairs, not in that state.
Ja, er ist aber wirklich betrunken. Zack's absence covered by Archibald. Archibald confirmed seeing Zack in the hall and directing him to the bathroom. Zack went missing.
Come, my little grey cells.
Oh,
We must...
dann aber hier rüber.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
Also manchmal ist es ein bisschen kleinlich, was jetzt zusammenpasst. Archibald confirmed Zack's movements out of the salon, however brief.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Gideon, Zachariah and Margot were all in the salon, at least for some time altogether. Surely someone else is to blame. Oder waren es mehrere? Und was ist eigentlich mit Elizabeth, die da auch noch irgendwie unterwegs war? Wir haben sie dann gar nicht mehr gesehen. Come, my little grey cells. Continue interrogations and determine likely motives. That did not yield the results I desired. Perhaps a more direct approach, considering the potential motives, will reveal more. Also nochmal alle anquatschen. Fangen wir doch mit Zack an.
I'm an open book, Poirot.
Did you speak with the Major this evening?
Why would I? I've got nothing to say to him. Except maybe to keep his hands off what is ours.
What is yours that he could want?
Money, of course. Why do you think he has been suckling at the Van den Bosch teat for so long? He's bled them dry, and now they will all do the same to our money.
Our?
My father's, Gideon's, it's all the same.
I get the sense you and Monsieur Gideon are not the closest.
When you have not been on level playing fields for years, it's hard to have a fair game.
I am afraid I do not quite understand.
If we're playing golf, he has a full set of clubs and a caddy in the form of my father, and I have the old split putter. Make sense now?
Perfectly.
There is certainly some hostility towards his brother. This runs much deeper than brotherly rivalry. Hätte er auch was von der Angeline gewollt?
I think that is all for now. Merci for your time.
Oder haben sie sich doch zusammengerauft, um den anderen loszuwerden? Wer weiß, ob sie sich wirklich so nicht mögen. Zack resents Gideon. It feels as though he has held onto this resentment for a long time. Dann gehen wir einfach mal im Kreis. Hugo!
Whatever you require, Detective.
How do you know the victim?
I know that I don't think, or didn't think, a great deal of him. I'm just sorry I didn't get the chance to tell him what I thought.
The man has recently been murdered.
Someone must stand up to men like him, with their crooked dealings and lack of, well, any compassion at all.
Another rousing speech, monsieur.
It's the truth. If you knew what I know, maybe he wouldn't be dead, but behind bars instead.
Your connection to the family is through Monsieur Demius.
Yes, Gideon invited me. If you will recall from our previous conversation, we have been working together and he thought now would be a good time to discuss matters.
To discuss business at the celebration of his engagement?
We're all here, so what better time? He thought Da Silva might even let his guard down, if he was in a more jubilant mood. It would be wise to not continue to ignore us any longer.
And what business was it that was so urgent?
We're trying to resolve the worker strikes. It has gone on long enough. Now is the time for him to listen to our demands so we can put an end to it all. Put the violence and upset behind us.
You seem to hold a certain level of, shall we say, anger towards the Major.
Anger, yes, but that's all. I wouldn't kill a man.
You must see why this leads me to have suspicions.
Ja, so ein Revoluzer, der geht doch auch mal über Leichen.
You can't honestly think I did it. I am a man of peace. I make changes with words, not with violence.
I barely mentioned the Major and Monsieur Beckers became rather flustered and defensive. So, are there plans for a negotiation with Monsieur de Silva?
I am fighting for the basic rights of our workers, nothing more. If he can't see that, he is a lesser man than I already thought.
And where does Monsieur Gideon fit into the negotiations? And his brother?
His brother? I didn't even know he had a brother until I arrived here. Gideon certainly hasn't talked much about him. I get the sense there's not much love lost between them.
When was the last time you saw the Major?
Last I saw, he was outside having a cigar.
Oui, I spoke with him myself, but that was some time ago.
He does love a cigar. You'd have to stand out in those conditions. I could barely see him through the snow.
Merci, Monsieur Beckers. It has been a most enlightening conversation.
Ja, das war jetzt wesentlich mehr drin in dem Gespräch, als ich gedacht hätte. Talk to Zach. Hugo claims to have calmed down. Hugo says he calmed down, but I wonder if this threat could have escalated. Hugo has dirt on the Major. It is obvious he has some information on the Major. Gideon is trying to start negotiations. Trying to improve the workers' standards seems like an honest motive for his negotiations. Ernesto.
More questions? I suppose so.
Ja, du gibst auch nicht die gescheiten Antworten. Can you tell me more about your relationship with the deceased?
Felix, I didn't know him that well. We spoke a handful of times. I met him through Cassandra. I thought him to be rather pompous.
But you remained polite, as any gentleman would.
Of course.
The negative opinion of the Major is rather ubiquitous. I am yet to meet someone with a particularly positive view of him. Why don't you tell me more about your relationship with Madame van den Bosch?
What is there to say? She's a remarkable woman, and I admire her. Even after Edwin's death, she held herself with such poise.
It sounds as though you hold her in the highest regard.
And why shouldn't I? Women these days could take a leaf out of her book on how to present themselves.
Ich weiß, ich habe nicht den besten Eindruck von der Madame van den Bosch. You said you have talked with the Major a few times. About what exactly?
He had approached me about doing some business together. I like to know who I'm getting into bed with first.
And you both went ahead with your business venture.
Not so much a business venture, more security related. But there is no need to discuss that any further.
Is there something you wish to remain hidden about your partnership, monsieur?
It was far from a partnership. I hired him to run security at my factories. If the workers were going to get violent, I wanted to make sure I was ready to protect my property.
Both you and the Major have been very supportive of Madame van den Bosch over the years.
That is correct.
And the reason for your support was always of a purely platonic nature.
If you're trying to insinuate that I was expecting something in return, you can remove your head from the gutter.
Ich habe den Brief gelesen. Ich weiß, was du meinst.
I meant no offense. I'm only trying to understand the dynamic of your relationship.
I may need to approach this in a different manner. Perhaps I should speak with the Comtesse on this.
Merci for your cooperation.
Ja, da haben wir noch einige Gäste vor uns. Ernesto is fond of Cassandra. Major involved in the workers' strike. The Major was working as security for the factories during the strikes. Ernesto has business with the family. Especially Ernesto has worked with both Cassandra and the Major. Ja. Ich finde es übrigens äußerst interessant hier, diesen halbdurchsichtigen Blumentopf oder was hier steht. Sieht aus wie ein Blumentopf mit einer Blume drin. Aber irgendwie so ganz transparent. Seltsam. Sollten wir vielleicht auch mal untersuchen. Dann haben wir noch ein paar, mit denen wir reden können. Das machen wir aber heute nicht mehr. Machen wir an dieser Stelle lieber erstmal ein kleines Päuschen. Und ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal.